Hello, EFnoters. Brad here. Wanted to show you a quick video on how to do aggregate interfaces, trying to record your EFnote drums at the same time with another interface on your machine. Of course, we're using a Mac here, so the advantage of a Mac is that it supports this feature called aggregate interfaces. A few things really quick. I'm just going to zoom the camera around here just so I can show you what we're working with. So I have a couple interfaces in the rack. Hopefully you can see those there. So one is a Lynx Aurora, and one is a Claret Scarlett Focusrite Claret Pro. So those are two interfaces that I got going into the system, as well as the EFnote drums. So basically, the EFnote drums are connected USB, and we have Thunderbolt from the Aurora and USB-C from the Focusrite. Everything connected to the Mac. First thing you need to do here is you need to open up what's an application on the Mac called Audio MIDI Interfaces. So Audio MIDI Setup, sorry. So this is what Audio MIDI Setup looks like. So I've already created a couple of aggregate interfaces. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see a lot of inputs. Some of them are kind of confusing. It actually pulls up my monitors as an input because they're HDMI connected. Don't worry about that. But basically what you do is you come down here and you hit the plus sign and you do a create aggregate interface. So I've already done two of them. The first one I've labeled Lynx and Claret. So this is an aggregate between the two interfaces in the rack. Kind of a video for maybe another day. This one we're focusing on, I've created an aggregate called EFnote/Lynx. So this is an aggregate between the Lynx interface in the rack and the EFnote drums that are connected. So I got some advice early on from Michael Bedard about putting the EFnote drums first in the series in the aggregate. I think I've tried both of these and I haven't really had issue either way, but I'm going to take his advice. So as you can see, the EFnote drums are set up first in the aggregate, and then my Lynx Aurora is set up second. So as soon as you put those two, check marks next to these two, making your aggregate, it adds those together. So you can see that it's taking the first 12 channels over USB inputs, and then I actually have the rest of the channels as inputs from my Lynx Aurora. And then on the outputs, 1 and 2 out of the EFnote drums, and then there's a lot of outputs out of the Lynx Aurora, right? So this is how we set up an aggregate. Once you've done that, I'm going to fast forward and look at Pro Tools here. So this is just a sample session I have set up in Pro Tools. Now the key here is, when you go into Pro Tools or any other DAW, you basically need to set up the playback engine or the output of your DAW. So in the playback engine, I've actually selected the aggregate device of EFnote and the Lynx, right? So this is basically telling Pro Tools to use both of these interfaces. So this can tend to get a little tricky on I/O depending on what program you're using. That I've set this up in a way that I have two I/O maps, I/O settings. Sorry, one is called EFnote Lynx, and then the other one is the other two interfaces I have, the EFnote and the Claret together. But as you can see, here's my inputs for my EFnotes. Right, so EFnote 1 through 12, and then I have my Lynx inputs, and then the outputs. So I'm not going to bore you with recording live into this stuff, but this is a track that I'm putting drums down to. Very rough, just threw a rough drum track down earlier before I started recording this. So you can see that the Pro Tools session has number of tracks, bass guitar, some vocals, some background vocals, some bridge vocals, lots of vocals, some tambourine, shaker, click track that I did not play to, so you're gonna see that is pretty evident here. And then here's the tracks for my individual EFnote outs. So this is really cool, right? So you don't need to take a stereo out of the EFnote brain. You can if you like, but I like to have a lot more control over the individual drums. So I've actually set this up with, I'm not using all 12 tracks, by the way. I'm using, kick on track 1, snare on 2, tom on 4, another tom, floor tom. So I have actually individually mic toms. You could put those on a stereo if you'd like. Overheads is a stereo, so that's my overhead cymbals in the stereo, and then a hi-hat on a separate track as well. And then I just have everything set out to a drum mix. So this is just really rough. I'll just play a little bit of this for you so you can see what it sounds like.
I don't want to waste another day. Tired of these games, nowhere else to go, you run away. I told you nothing's changed. Well, it's time to come back now, we'll make it work somehow. I know we'll find a way. So won't you come home, baby? I know that lately nothing seems okay. We can work together.
You get the idea. So, and again, this is both interfaces running at the same time. Let's say if I wanted to create a new track, again, the drums are all connected right now. If I wanted to create a new audio track, and we'll call this, off of Lynx interface 1 as an example. I think I turned the fan of power off on it, so let me turn that back on. And there you have, a microphone connected to a channel on the Lynx interface at the same time that the drums are connected as well. So you can record a whole band this way, which I've done. So the drums, aggregate, and the rest of the channels could be off any interface you want. Hopefully that helps. It's quick and dry. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.